All right, we're doing the Elisa Good ending. Let me just get my cheat sheet up here as well. Oh, not quite there. That seems fine. Wait. Oh? What are we doing here? Can I go? So if I remember, I was helping for day 6, right? Day 6? Oh, we're at the ending. Right, we can just full screen this. Can I go? Says Semyon. I think Slavia asked us to go help them. I don't even remember what we did in here. Oh, right. They gave us a package that we were gonna deliver to someone. Of course, says Electronic. No, we said it threateningly. Ooh. Just be careful. Shurik pleaded. Did we get the beer? No. Vodka. Oh, yeah, they had vodka. It's probably in the vodka in the package, so we're not supposed to drop it. Outside, I took a good look at the package. They never told me not to open it. Although it would make sense to go further on. I quickly walked to the square, making sure nobody was following. Then I slipped into the forest. I just stood there for a while, indecisive, looking at the package. I wonder, what's in it? Why is it so important for them? Why couldn't they take it themselves? I had a lot of questions. I opened the package and saw a bottle of Stolichnaya vodka. Called it. Well, so what? Pioneers bringing a bottle of vodka to the nurse. Alright. Or rather, I'm doing it for them. Happens every day. I wrapped the bottle back up and scratched my head. This isn't weird anymore. This is just stupid. So stupid I couldn't think of one intelligent theory. Thinking being hypothesis. I stood there for a while longer and thought I shouldn't let such a wonderful chance slip away. I quickly walked to the camp leader's cabin. Oh, is he gonna get drunk? Thank God, Olga was not there. I snuck inside and began to rifle through the contents of the table drawer. Soon, the vodka was in a soda bottle, while in its place was some water for the plants. Happy with my clever plan, I went out and skipped along the way to the infirmary. Seriously, what is so wrong about that? They almost got me in a trap. If the camp leader had seen me, if anyone else had, I could have managed for myself. Louis was absolutely nothing. I gathered all my strength and knocked on the infirmary door. Hello, Pioneer. I remember once when I was a teenager, like as young as he behaves that he is, but he isn't. It's very strange. He's 25 and he behaves like a tween. But anyway, when I was a tween, well, I don't remember how old I was when this happened, but my grandmother was here visiting for some reason or other. We had like dinner and stuff. I think she was helping with the dinner. Then she cut herself with a knife. It was kind of heavy, kind of rough bleeding, rough, heavy. So since it was such a deep cut, they decided to clean it before they would bandage it up. So they took out a bottle of vodka that, since my parents doesn't drink vodka, it had just been standing there for a very long time, like years probably. And they started like, "Oh, watch out, it's gonna sting." And she prepared for it, and she said, "That's not vodka, that's water. It doesn't sting at all." They tasted it, and it was like a little bit of vodka and mostly water. So what had happened was that both me and my brother had been like taking a little bit over to a flask to bring out, and then filled it up with a little bit of water. And then the next time, oh, I'll take some more. And so both of us had gone in round and around it goes. So, and we had diluted it. So it was pretty much no vodka there left. It was kind of fun. Stupid kids. I mean, we didn't try it like so we didn't know how weak it actually was, but it was not a lot of vodka left. Hello, Pioneer. I kind of think that we need to explore Viola here. What does she know here? Colgate says, "You were as great criminal masterminds as Semyon." Yeah, exactly. As I said, behaving like teenagers. Can't think 2 days ahead. Just, yeah. But teenagers. Luckily, I'm pretty sure we were like, when this happened, because it had been years, I'm pretty sure I was like 18. And at 18, it's not an issue anymore, right? So it's like blaming me for something I did when I was 15 or whatnot. That doesn't really matter. Statute of limitations? No, it's like, I don't know. You get, like, I did a lot of stuff in my teens that I got away with. Then a couple of years later, you tell your parents and it's fine because you're not a teenager anymore. Well, a tweenager, I suppose. Hello, I have a package for you. A bottle for your armpit. I mean, a package for your cabinet. That is for sure lost in translation. I'm guessing that is quite a funny joke in Russian. A bottle for your armpit. I mean, a package for your cabinet. There's got to be like a funny rhyme in there somewhere. This doesn't make sense at all. Or it is something in English that I've never heard of. No, it was nonsense. I was so euphoric I began to talk nonsense. There we go. Ah, she said. Hand it over. I handed her the package. The nurse stuffed it into the desk drawer without looking. You didn't open it, did you? Yes? Of course not, he says. I blurted out. Also, we're getting drunk with Elisa tonight, is that it? Good boy. She's such a weirdo. Banana Waffle Monkey says, oh, it was just bad malapropism. Ooh, that's a new word. Or I think you've used it before. Just didn't go in. Ludicrous misuse of a word. Especially by confusing with a similar word. Yeah, exactly. It was just a bad malapropism. That probably worked in Russian, I suppose. All right, so I'll be go Pioneer. I closed the door behind me and let out a sigh. I could always pin this on the crazy inventors, and in my situation, I could really use even the most basic form of stress relief. I came to the square. The clock showed noon. That meant dinner was coming. I sat on the bench with the solid intention of not moving from here until the come and get it bell sound comes. Pioneers were running by. They were smiling and shouting merrily. Yes, the day was definitely a wonderful one. I glanced over the square and saw Lena approaching. All right. Relaxing? Something like that. He sat by me and looked at the sky. Nice day, huh? It is. It was a bit awkward. Lena seemed different. She was not embarrassed. Her face was not red. She was confident. So, about that conversation. I told you everything already. Yeah, but just forget it. You say so. We sat there a little longer in silence. I just can't. Not like that. So, what do you think about Elisa? She said, ignoring my inquiry. What do I think about her, Elisa? I repeated, lost in thought. I don't really know. Why? You were just so worried yesterday. Well, of course, but what does that have to do with it? There's a direct connection there, she laughed. Let's assume. So what? Well, and again I started thinking. Really, what do I think of her? Well, she can be arrogant at times. That's right. What else can I say? Now that I think of it, I don't know Elisa at all. The way she acts does annoy me sometimes. If you were wondering if I had any negative feelings about her, then no. I mean, she gets carried away, but everyone has their quirks. Lena stared at me. Really? Did I say something wrong? No, not really. She laughed out loud one more time just before the lunch bell sound came. All right, see ya. I didn't stop her, although I had a lot of questions left. But how do I ask them? And should I? I got up and slowly shuffled to the canteen. There were only a few spots left, so I had to sit with the electronic insuring. Did you deliver it? Yeah, I answered lazily, poking my fork between the buckwheat kasha. No incidents? No incidents? What was in there anyway? You didn't open it, did you? He stared. No? Great. Finishing my meal, I went out. I was struck by a sudden yawn. Taking a nap wouldn't be a bad idea. I headed to the camp leader's cabin. It felt like the summer sun was going to melt the whole planet together with all its inhabitants. There was nowhere to hide. The sunlight seemed to reflect from every surface. Looking up, you risked going blind. Using my last bit of strength, I pulled the door handle, entered the room, and fell onto the bed. Of course, I wouldn't expect the cabin to be really cool, but it was much better than outside. Blissfully, I stretched out on the bed and closed my eyes. Strangely, sleep deserted me. I was overwhelmed with thoughts teeming in my head. Here's another theory, a solution to the problem of how I got here. Here's an explanation of what's going on here. And here's the true form. And here is the true form of all those inhabiting this place. I remember Lena saying, what do you think about Elisa? Seriously, what do I think of her? What can I think of a person that I've only known for a few days? Right? Certainly we wouldn't fall in love. Perhaps. Can I just draw conclusions based on a couple of words and deeds? Although her deeds, I laughed a bit. An irrelevant organization would draw the right conclusions based on the monument bombing. Still, though, I don't care. Maybe I really don't think anything of her. Can one be interested in a person who's not interesting? No, that's some sort of absurdity. Well, can one be interested in a person who's not interesting? There we go. a person cannot be interesting. Like, interesting is something that you as a person attributes to something else. Like, if you find another person interesting, that's something like within you. So can one person be interested in a person who's not interesting? That doesn't make any sense. Because if you're interested in a person, then for you that person is regarded interesting. No, that's some sort of absurdity. Exactly. It's absurd. It doesn't make sense. A knock on the door. Come in. I was too lazy to get up, so I sat up a little bit. The door opened and I saw Lisa. What a coincidence. She stopped, unsure, and stared at me for a couple of seconds. I guess you were looking at the camp, looking for the camp leader? Why would she, though? No. What's up, then? I was looking for you. She sounded calm and not aggressive at all. I often don't. Maybe that's just me bad at facial expressions. I don't connect the facial expressions sometimes from what they're saying. But I'm bad at that anyway, so. She sounded calm and not aggressive at all. I caught myself thinking I was not afraid of her and had no concerns when she behaved like that. Normally. What for? I want to make everything clear. She sat on the bed across from me. What exactly? I want to clean up any misunderstandings or miscommunications. All right, I'm up for that. Have you spoken to with Lena today? Yep. About what? Nothing really. You're lying. Lisa looked stiff and worried. She crossed her legs and bit her lip. You do understand I'm always assumed to be guilty whenever anything happens. Well, you always are guilty. Oof. Ooh. That's a punch. Right in the stomach. Oof. I said thoughtlessly. A spark flashed in her eyes, but she kept talking calmly. Maybe, but in this case, me and Lena, we're always like that. Even if she starts something, she's all innocent and I take all the blame. So you're saying that Lena, actually, I don't really know what you're saying. You never understand anything, do you? He fumed. This is strange. I wouldn't call myself slow. So explain. You do know Lena likes you. She went red after those words. No, I answered truthfully. Well, now you do. Now I do. An uncomfortable silence overtook the room. I was processing what she said, and Elisa seemed unsure of how to continue the conversation. Lena likes me. Could I ever have guessed? Wasn't that what we talked about the other day? Unlikely. My intuition is usually good. Is it now? But when it's about me and my feelings, it doesn't work at all. It does not work at all. The weirdest thing was, I accepted this news with almost no worries. Right at the moment I was listening to Elisa, I was focused only on her. I could think about the rest later. And she thinks I'm gonna steal you away from her. She thinks that all the time. She thinks that all the time, understand? Even though it's always the other way around. Everyone looks at her because she's such an angel and nobody pays any attention to me. That's rough, buddy. Damn, I'm just a shoulder to cry on. Lisa started screaming. Look, please don't get so upset. I don't think of you like that. Right? I don't think of you like that. Of course. I still had no idea what forced her to be so honest. And I didn't know how to react. Moreover, I was not worried at all. It was like I was watching another episode of some TV series. and what was going on in the room was on the other side of the screen. I understand, I was the reason for all of it, but today Elena said it was okay. That's just like her. You'll probably realize that she's not as quiet as she wants to seem. I'd started to guess. If I can do anything, tell me. Elisa raised her eyes. Only then did I see that she's been crying. Some sort of worry stirred inside of me. I could not treat this conversation like I was an outsider anymore. Do you like Lena, or do you like me? She asks. I guess I should have expecting a question like that, but I just wasn't ready. Just like that. Lena is nice, of course. But Elisa has her good points as well. Besides, the way she was at the moment, she could seriously compete with Lena. I don't really know you two at all. A question like that, it's difficult to answer directly. If I could say no, I would have at that very moment, but I only had one chance for the other answer as well. And I did not know what to choose. I did want the situation to resolve itself. Of course, but... Why but again? Why again? Why? Nice. Look, we're going nowhere with this. Well, answer it then. Her face fell back to her usual bold arrogance. I need time to think. Well, go ahead and think. Elisa stood up abruptly and headed out. Don't forget we have plans for tonight, he said on the threshold, smiling. The door closed behind her before I could say anything. Plans? What kind of plans? The talk with Elisa left a heavy impression on me. So, Lena likes me? On its own, the news could shock and startle, and I, above that, was also forced to make a choice, a difficult one, to put it mildly. And any choice I make would be a mistake for someone. If only I could refuse them both. Oh, can't you though? I mean, you can refuse them both. Although I didn't like the word refuse itself. If I could just answer her question with a no, it would be easier. But I knew it couldn't work like that. After I talked to Elisa, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. Can't be, no matter what happens. And I'll have to make a decision. Since I rejected the no scenario, I needed to pick a positive solution. If, of course, I could live with it. But I was sure that, out of all the possible outcomes, there's one that won't just satisfy everyone. It could also be the one that I would want to strive for. And the choice seems obvious, Lena. She's pretty, she's cute, she's kind. But then again, there was something about Elisa that attracted me. Suddenly the door flew open and Olga came in. Lounging around again, huh? Just resting. It's so hot out there. Go and help Slavia. She was asking around. Where? I asked lazily. On the sports field. Reluctantly, I got up and headed out. I should really air my brain out anyways. There were a lot of people on the sports ground. Some were playing football, others were playing badminton. Younger kids were just chasing each other. She doesn't look happy. Semyon, Slavia walked up to me. You require my assistance? I asked, all official-like. Yeah. Listen, did you take the infirmary key? No. Why me again, anyway? Well, you were there a lot recently. I guess she's right. No. Maybe you know who did. No. Why? The nurse came up to me to ask me for my key. You know that I have a key to every building in the camp. She said hers were missing. Did she have lost it? I shrugged. No, she says she couldn't have. I don't know. Okay. Okay. She smiled and ran off. I headed to the camp leader's house, determined to get some sleep after all. Olga wasn't there, thank God, so I fell on the bed and lost consciousness. I don't exactly remember what I dreamt of, but it left a heavy impression, as afternoon naps often do. Well, they don't do for me. I often do afternoon naps. I'm gonna take one today after lunch, probably. I put some effort into getting off the bed and looked at the clock. It was just after 7. Not surprising if you think about it. I should have expected to sleep through the day. Although, as it turns out, I missed dinner as well. That thought made me uncomfortable, and I headed towards the exit. I stopped on the threshold and thought of what to do next. I don't know how long I would have stood there. My head was still heavy after sleep if someone hadn't called out to me. Slavia was quickly walking towards the cabin. Semyon, she started, breathless. Are you sure you don't have the infirmary key? Of course not. Why would I need it? Well, do you know who took it? No, I don't. Why? Well, something has gone missing. Oh, what? Something important, Slavia hesitated. Some medication. So all this disturbance was started because of some medicine? Although, I pondered, I mean, I have the bottle in my cabin. Did she mean that? I tried to keep my face still as stone without doing anything to give myself away. Okay? I don't know, I'm sorry. Okay, Slavia said in frustration. I looked at her and tried to figure out how bad the situation was for me, or whether I was in trouble at all. On the one hand, the vodka, I did steal it. Then again, she's saying it's gone, as in disappeared all by itself with no external influence. Although it's highly unlikely that she would say that. A bottle of trophy vodka was stolen from the infirmary. So the way it was said was okay. The problem was different. I suddenly got really scared. What if they found out it was me? Even if it wasn't about the bottle, they'd still found out I was find it while looking for what was gone. Basically, I had to get a move on. And the main thing to do right now was to get rid of all the evidence. I jumped into the cabin, shoved the bottle under my belt, and raced to the forest. Burying it somewhere was the best decision at the moment. Oh man, I had so many hiding spots in the forests and bushes, like all around here. Like for beer and snus, that's Swedish tobacco. And not beer, mostly liquor. Sometimes beer, sometimes cider, sometimes, alcohol. I took my time looking for a spot, never noticing night falling on the camp. Oh yeah, that actually, as well, like when we were out drinking, if you didn't have anything to drink yourself, like everywhere we went, like as teenagers when we were out drinking, people were always hiding because we weren't allowed to drink, adults everywhere. You could just go out in the forest in a random direction and just look around a little bit. Oh, look at that. Look here, a bottle of something. That's mine now. So much alcohol all over the place. I took my time looking for a spot, never noticing night falling on the camp. Banana Waffle Monkey says, it's like that with weed here sometimes. Oh, like a plastic bag. keeping all the water out. That weed wasn't common for teenagers. And then when you get to in your 20s plus, then you don't hide stuff outdoors anymore. Oh well, we didn't, I guess. It's going out. Ooh, here. A familiar voice surprised me. Hey! I struggled to turn back, making my face look as casual as possible. So, what's going on here? Oh, I'm just having a walk. My voice sounded calm, but I already understood. I couldn't fool Elisa. Alone? At night? In the woods? Yeah, well, what's wrong? Nothing at all, she stared at me. Okay, then I'll... Hold on, aren't you forgetting something? I don't think so. We had an agreement. About? About tonight. I think she's right. There was something like that. Yes, but you see... No, I don't. Oh, let's go. She turned around and gestured me to follow. I thought there was no point in arguing. Any word or action would give me away. And then, sighing, I followed. Oh? Ooh. I don't think we've been in here before. He likes metal. We've had a lot of metal the last couple of days. I like metal as well. It was a couple of minutes before we reached her cabin. While we were walking, I was busy trying to find the best time and place to ditch the vodka, but Elisa stayed so close that I couldn't manage anything. Well, she stared at me. Well, what? I was so nervous that my hair was wet with sweat. The only thing on my mind was at the moment was how to adjust the bottle so she wouldn't notice. Ooh, is it gonna look like a bulge? What do you say? About what? Lisa pondered. Okay, I guess you're right. I brought you here, so I'm the one to decide. Okay, I agreed, unsure. Hold on a minute. She reached under the bed and in a few seconds pulled out the bottle of Stolich vodka. I was shocked. Surprised, huh? Of course, not by the vodka itself, though, but by the fact that it was the exact bottle I carried into the infirmary in the morning. The murky contents gave it away. So? Elisa looked at me teasingly. What? Wanna take a shot? I didn't even know what to say to that. Oh man. Sure thing, and then he just starts chugging the whole thing because he knows it's water. Oh, it was rotten water. What she had was just rotten water. The real vodka was in the bottle under my belt. Rotten water? I don't even remember where he got the water from. But it would be fun for him just to chug it. Well, kinda. Don't tell me you don't drink, Lisa pouted. I don't know, Alright, and just a second. In just an instant, Lisa got 2 glasses and filled them to the brim. Banana Waffle Monkey says, good old dramatic irony. Yeah, this is quite funny. Let's do this, she said, giving me one of the glasses and downed hers before I could answer. Ugh, she gasped. In a moment, she realized. What on earth is that? She started spitting. We call this vodka. Despite my difficulty, I couldn't help laughing. What are you laughing at? Elisa shouted, red in the face. I'm asking you, what's so funny? It is actually funny. So you're having drunk fun? Drink yours, we'll see how you laugh then. I had no desire to try the stale water. But just to avoid making her suspicious, I asked, so, how does it taste? Like rotten water, Elisa said, upset. I was just going to relax a bit, have have a cultured timeout, and then it... A cultured timeout? I repeated as a new bout of laughter bent me in half. Hey, stop it! Alisa shouted and jumped at me. She was trying to hit me or bite me or something. Maybe her plan was to crush me to death with her authority. I just grabbed her hands, and all she could do was gasp in powerless anger. Good old euphemism. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, cultured timeout? Indeed. Oop. All was going fine, but then Alisa's legs slid and she began to fall. I let go of her hand so she fell right on top of me, painfully headbutting me in the nose. I moaned in pain, threw her off, and turned to the side. What do we have here? When I realized she had taken the bottle, all the pain disappeared. Give that back! I tried to get the bottle back, but Alisa nimbly jumped off the bed and ran to the far corner of the room. Let's see, huh? She immediately removed the cap and took a big gulp. In a moment her face went red and her eyes seemed to pop out of her sockets. What is this? She rasped while coming back to her senses. Oh man, would have been more fun if he could have done some, deliver a joke with it. That's the actual vodka. I seem to have come to terms with my defeat. But where did you get it? You really thought you had stolen the right one from the infirmary? She nodded. Well, it was the right bottle for sure, but the contents... Man, you're clever. She was already starting to slur her words. That was fast. Alisa came to the window, poured the water out of my glass, and replaced it with vodka. Come on! I don't want it. Really? This is not the time, the right time, or the place. Isn't it, though? Why did he take it if not for drinking? And, was he planning on drinking alone? I'm confused. Here he has a drinking buddy, right? At least. Drink it, or else I'll tell everyone you stole the bottle. But it was you. Well, you had the vodka. You can't prove that. Colgate says he planned to get rid of it. Yeah, he was hiding the evidence, he was burying it. Like I was talking about before, like I wasn't burying it. But he stole it for a reason, right? I mean, we know that the end is in a day. Maybe he was just saving it for a rainy day or something, I don't know. You can't prove that. You think I even have to? Alisa said maliciously. Unsure what to do, I stared at the glass. What's important is to get rid of vodka. This is just one of the ways to do it. I breathed out abruptly and swallowed the contents of the glass in one quick motion. A short moment after, I regretted that. Got any food to chase this? Oh yeah, he hasn't been eating. He didn't have any dinner, so he'll get drunk for sure. Wait a second, Alisa said excitedly and pulled a huge stick of ham out of her drawer. I tore it from her hands and bit off a big piece. Phew! So how was it? You're asking. It's not like I have full-strength booze every day, you know. I didn't really understand how I'd agree to this so easily. Banana Waffle Monkey says, I should start keeping ham in my drawer too. Yeah, who knows when a woman shows up and need to chase your vodka with some ham? Like could get like salami, like beer sausage. Like spicy salami, but the thin one, the beer sausage. I think they're called beer sausages. I'm just literally translating because that's what we call them in Swedish. Ölkorv. That becomes beer sausage. I didn't really understand how I'd agree to this so easily. Well, how was it? Like a double bubble with vodka flavor. Alright, time for another round then. She opened the bottle again and poured us half a glass each. Don't you think that's enough? No way! Well, since we've already started, the alcohol was starting its work. Without a second thought, I gulped down the vodka. Elisa was definitely less experienced. She was having some difficulty, some trouble with her second glass. Ugh! How does it... She seemed really drunk already. You don't get drunk that fast. I haven't been drinking for a couple of years now, but getting drink? Well, when you drink an entire fucking glass instead of a shot, says Banana Waffle Monkey. Yeah, you have a point. I don't think I've ever done that. A full glass of vodka. Perhaps you do get drunk that fast. I wonder how the author is using that word. Glass, you mean? Well, they said to the brim. I'm guessing we have a bottle of vodka, 2 glasses. We'll know in a bit, I guess. We can count the glasses. We're on the second glass. So, let's say, like, what do you think? Like 4 glasses? 4 glasses each? 8 glasses? That's a normal drinking, well, a small, regular drinking glass. And if it's shots, it's like, then it's, I don't know, what's that, 4 centiliters? And a bottle is maybe 1 liter, so... Well, many more if it's shot glasses. She seemed really drunk already. If you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen, says Semyon. I think a shot is something like 40 milliliters, yeah. Like, oh, well, I mean, it's different in different places, I suppose. But usually around these parts you can get 2 centiliters, or, well, 20 mils, 4 or 6. So 20, 40, 60. Usually when we do... Yeah, well, usually when I do shots, it's always tequila with the lemon, and we do the small shots with the 20 mils. Colgate points out that he don't think that Elisa would have shot glasses in her cabin. Indeed. It's probably just like small water drinking glasses. That makes a lot of sense. Also, since they are getting drunk so fast, we could assume that they are drinking quite a bit. I said merrily, pouring myself some more. Somewhere deep inside I realized it was too much, but the gun was already loaded. How about me? Elisa was outraged. Haven't you had enough? No way! She grabbed the bottle from my hand and started to drink straight from it. Hey, we have glasses, you know. Screw him, she shouted and roared in laughter. This is so cool, she said, catching her breath. Sure, it's not bad. I looked at the bottle. We'd gone through 2/3. There we go. So, quite big glasses, I would say. I mean, not big like this, but, you know, big enough. Spilled. I was definitely drunk by that point, and Elisa seemed even worse. Then again, there were barely anything left. I sighed and poured a full glass for myself and half for Elisa. That's all. With these words, she chucked the bottle from the window. What if they find it? Oh, who cares? We both laughed. Okay then, for all ladies present. I grunted and drank, and for all the gentlemen, she followed my lead. I'm getting dizzy. She undid a few buttons on her shirt. I carefully looked at her. Had she always been this beautiful? Ooh, here we go. Or is everyone beautiful to me at this point? Whichever it was, I could not force myself to look away. You're gonna stare a hole through me if you keep going on like that, Elisa laughed. Sorry, embarrassed. I stared at my feet. Oh, you can look if you're so interested. With some effort, I opened an eye and saw her continuing to unbuttoning her shirt. No words could escape my mouth. Besides, who needs words at a moment like this? Nobody needs words. What happened then was what was supposed to happen. Right, here we go, talking about destiny again. At the time, I was unable to think of what was right to do, and I didn't want to. It just felt good. The light bulb burnt out, or one of us turned off the light, but either way, the room went dark. I looked around her cabin and thought of something. Where's Juliana? What, you're afraid someone would come in and see us? She grinned warmly. Could happen. I asked her to spend the night at another girl's cabin. Wait, so you planned all this? Well, she sure did. Well, not something like this, of course. She looked at me intently, smiled, and closed her eyes. Casual reminder, weird voyeurs? Damn it, voyeurs. Yeah, that sounds good. We are indeed. Yeah. I stared at the ceiling for a while longer and soon heard quiet, deep breathing. Lisa was asleep. I've never enjoyed drunken sex. I've just not enjoyed it. My head ached suddenly. The alcohol seemed to... Flirting is fun, but when sex drunk? No, it doesn't feel very good. The alcohol seemed to be wearing off. Best thing to do in this case is to follow her lead and get some sleep as well. Before I finished the thought, I was already fast asleep. Ooh, time to go to the headache. Day 7. Too much precision required, says Banana Waffle Monkey, for how much inhibition there is, among other things. Well, I mean, the precision I've never had an issue with. It's the what's it called? The sensation. Like I don't feel anything. Oh, precision, that's funny. Some people were chasing me, or maybe they weren't people, but fuzzy black blots with hellish landscape in the background. I ran, stumbling over something, having no air to breathe. My whole essence was overtaken by primal fear and terror. Oh, nightmares while being drunk. And then a memory lapse. I opened my swollen eyelids only for my to be so. Wait. I opened my swollen eyelids only for my to be eyes struck by bright daylight. He opened his swollen eyelids only to be struck in his eyes by bright daylight. There we go. A terrible taste in my mouth, pains all over body, and a severe headache. It seemed someone was drinking hard yesterday. After coming to my senses, I started to recall the events of last night. I believe there was a bottle of vodka which I happily emptied together with Alisa. I tried to stand up, but something was pinning my left arm. It was the peacefully snoring Alisa. Everything that happened returned to my mind. Fear was quickly replaced by a feeling of euphoria. I relaxed lazily on the bed, enjoying a beautiful hangover morning. Some time later, Alisa woke up. I kissed her softly and said, "Good morning." She gave me a blank look for a couple of seconds and then just jumped up shouting, You! Me what? Yesterday, you, she hissed. But it was kind of your idea. I wasn't drunk. So was I. What can you do? Alisa was furiously looking at me, but then calmed down and sat beside me. All right, whatever happened, happened. You sure? I got up and tried to hug her. Don't, she whispered, blushing. Why? Because? Alisa frantically shook her head. Hangover sex, though. That is sweet. Because it's 4 o'clock already. And what? Don't tell me you're late for something. Everyone will leave without us. Leave where? Today is the last day. The last day of what? I asked, completely confused. The last day of our term. What? The hangover that seemed to have already passed a while ago made a sharp comeback. Don't tell me you didn't know, asked Alisa in surprise. So you did know it? Well, yes, I'd forgotten it somehow. What should we do now? Actually, that wasn't the main thing that I was concerned about. Bang, nut and bolt. Oh yeah, time to bolt. If today is the last day, then everyone will go somewhere. So I can get out of this camp somehow. Here we go. Well, I have no idea. Maybe we can still make it. I jumped out of the bed and started dressing quickly. It was difficult as my coordination was badly disturbed by yesterday's lavish indulgence. What are you waiting for? Alisa didn't reply, but started dressing too. A couple of minutes later, we were standing at the deserted square. Let's go to the camp leader's cabin. After opening Olga's cabin with my key, I found nobody inside. We checked the entire camp and found that we were alone here. After returning to the square, I sat down and covered my face with my hands like a doomed man. I still felt sick, but now it turned out that I had to solve a serious problem. Ooh. I've been in that situation, like missing the bus and whatnot, just being completely wrecked and having to deal with like all issues and travel and pack and stressing around. It's awful. Where would they have gone? Well, to the district center, I guess. Do you know where it is? Approximately. Is it possible to reach it on foot? I don't know. And how long would it take on bus? A couple of hours. I quickly reckoned how much that is in kilometers. Oof, yeah, no. Walking? No way. Taking into consideration the quality of the Soviet motor car industry and Soviet roads, one could presume that it's quite possible to reach on foot. Oh? Say like 40 kilometers an hour, and she said a couple of hours. That still leaves like what? 80 kilometers? What's that, 100 miles or something? That's like... There's no way. There's no way. provided that Elisa knows the exact direction. Oh yeah, there's two ways to go. Moreover, in my situation, it's not easy to decide on such steps, but we can't stay here either, alone, without food, in a deserted pioneer camp. Well, you can do it on foot, yeah, if you're thinking, like, if you're not in a hurry, like go to the what's it called, the canteen, find some leftover food and whatnot, and take her leftover ham that she had in her drawer. Like, get all that stuff, and then you can go stay somewhere in the forest, sleep at night, and then finish the rest of the path the next day. That's fine. In real life, it would be a definite bad idea, and I had no other choice but to treat everything happening as reality. It's a bad decision. Let's go. Where? To the district center. Colgate says water is important for such a trip. Yeah, super important. Especially since they've been drinking the day before, so they're super dehydrated. It's like the main part of being hangover is the dehydration, right? That's why, as an adult, when you don't like being hungover, you drink alcohol, drink water, drink alcohol, drink water, drink alcohol, drink water, to not get as dehydrated. Super important for such a trip. Are you mad? You'd prefer to stay here? Sure, they'll notice that we're missing and will return. Well, if they noticed that they're missing, they wouldn't have left in the first place, right? Yeah, don't you think it's odd that they didn't notice it during the departure? Well, yeah, but she started to think. But to go somewhere all on our own? But you said you know the direction. I do, she agreed without confidence. What's there to think about? Maybe we'll encounter some local buses on the way. I don't really believe that myself, but if there is an exit from this camp, this idea seems quite solid. I don't know, as you say, she prattled on confusedly. Then start packing your stuff. Meet me here in half an hour. I ran towards Olga's cabin. Yes, not much to pack. I tossed my warm clothes into a bag and was about to go when an interesting thought crossed my mind. What would I actually need them for? It doesn't seem to be late summer, so what's the point in dragging unnecessary weight along? Especially since I don't know how far I have to walk. Well, protection from the elements? Like, what if it starts raining and it's cold and you have to spend the night in the forest? Then you might regret not bringing that stuff along. After reasoning that one could survive such weather without a coat and warm boots, I shoved my cell phone with its dying battery into my pocket and went to the square. All right. I had to wait at least 20 minutes for Elisa. My hangover seemed to ease a little, so I could better focus on the previous night. What does she really mean to me? Was it just drunken sex or something more? Naturally, I can't speak for Elisa. It's difficult to speak for myself. Even. I began to remember the course of my acquaintance with her, how she teased and mocked me at first, her arrogance and self-confidence. It was more than compensated for by the tenderness of last night. It was already clear that she is not the person she wants to seem like. But what kind of person is the real Elisa? Do I have feelings toward her? I do feel sympathy, a sort of affection, but is there something more? My reflections were interrupted by Elisa. Here, take it. She held out a huge backpack to me. What's this? I asked skeptically. My stuff. Why so little? I brought as much as I could fit. Look, we don't know how far we have to go. Maybe you can take only the most necessary things. Actually, let's have here as a good saving spot, and we'll finish out this ending tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.